folks, Gareth here. Okay, we're having a little bit of a kind of benchmarking standoff here between the Asus Zenpad 8.0 and the Samsung Galaxy Tab S. Now we're going with the Tab S because I don't think the Tab S2 is quite as good as the Tab S. I never upgraded to the Tab S2 as this has a slightly sharper screen. It has the same processor inside, an octa-core with 1.9 and 1.3 and 3 gigabytes of RAM. Whereas inside this is the Intel Atom alongside 2 gigabytes of RAM and 16 gigabytes of storage. So there is a little bit of a difference in that this is running Intel and this has the Exynos processor from Samsung. So we're going to have a quick look at some of the benchmarks. Now I've been having a few problems with a 2.2 going in on this. This one installed the 3D side of it okay, and this one isn't working. So we're going to go with Quadrant first and foremost, but we'll have a look at CPU Z to see exactly what the difference is in the architecture inside. Okay, so this is showing that there is a genuine Intel CPU 900 megahertz with 4 cores. Architecture is x86. Now this is going to make for some incompatibility between apps. The only one that I've actually noticed is the game Grim Fandango. Works on this, doesn't on this. What can you do? There's CPU ID, some relative cache information there. The clock speed is 4.416 megahertz, 900 megahertz to 900 megahertz. 4 cores running at 416 there, jumped up to 900 there whilst we were talking. You can see over here this one has 250 megahertz to 1.9 gigahertz, so a noticeable difference there, and it's running between 300 and 800 megahertz on each core just in idle. There is Plex running here. I can't get it to switch off. This is running very little. You'll notice actually, now I come to think of it, you'll notice actually that there is a difference between the two, and that's because the Asus has the expanded battery on the back, so that's why it's sitting up quite a bit higher. Okay, the CPU load on this is currently sitting at 9%. This is sitting at 9% as well, jumping up to 33 there, back down again. GPU vendor is ARM Mali 450, Mali T62B, and well, there you go. So we're going to have a quick run through of the Quadrant and see how it does on each of these. The reason why I am doing this is because at the moment these two are about the same price. Now this was a high-end tablet this time last year and was very much our recommendation for a tablet of the year, even though it has the TouchWiz overlay. This Asus has come along at £130 for this particular model, and I think it's one of the most impressive tablets I've used all year. I really love it, and especially with this bolt-on battery on the back. As you can see up here, we have two different battery scores. We have 100% and 87%. I charge this maybe once a week. I don't actually charge the tablet anymore. I just switch out the back and put the external battery on charge whenever I need to, and it charges the tablet during the day in my bag. So we'll go for this run full benchmark. And there we have it, the overall score. There is a noticeable difference between the devices here. 24,779, 8,547. Now I had expected this to be a great deal higher than that, and I'm wondering what's going on. So here we are on Geekbench. We're going to give it a second try here just to see how well we can do against it. Again, you can see there is a big difference in the specs initially straight away. And we'll hit run benchmarks and see if we can get them running at around the same kind of time. Okay, so quite some considerable difference here. We've got single core of 341 as opposed to 907 and then a multi-core of 1012 to 2775. So the Samsung really does wipe the floor of this little Asus. The Asus cannot keep up with it at all. You know, firing down here, the output is, you know, it's night and day between the two. And it's funny that, but of course this was their flagship, and it's still rocking the same components underneath the hood as their current flagship, the new S2. So it's fast. They know it's fast, and it's staying fast. So this is currently still, it's essentially the flagship, because I do believe it's better than the S2. This is £130. This has given me not a single reason to actually think that these scores are so different from these. It runs everything very nicely. Watching video, playing it back, I generally only go for 720 because it's smaller, and given that these are 16 gigabyte devices, you have to take into account external storage speeds as well whenever you're going for 1080p. So 720 just, it looks fine on both of these devices for a commute. This has never had a problem. It doesn't slow down. I will say this, that this does have a continual 5-minute lag of a couple of seconds. Every 5 minutes of video, you will notice it almost buffers a little bit as it's throwing in and out of memory. And that is completely inexcusable given these kind of scores. When playing games, this runs very smoothly. Admittedly, the loading times are a little longer because this just cranks through them. When looking at the actual screens, you know, you can see on here, actually looking through the viewfinder, this looks a little bit pink, whereas to the naked eye this looks pink in comparison to that. It's kind of funny that, and I've got these both on, I'll take that off auto brightness, might make a bit of a difference. On the viewfinder this looks even pinker now. So that's a bit of a benchmarking thought for how this measures up against one of the market beasts out there, and it's about a third as good as this whenever it comes down to things, but whenever it actually boils down to day-to-day use, I genuinely couldn't see a difference between the two. So thanks for watching. Take care now.